This problem number 45 is the hardest one on the problem set by far. But stick with me on the explanation and really try and focus on each step of the way. You will probably get another problem like this on a test or even on the final. I can almost guarantee it because I've seen this type of problem before. But it's not that hard. It's just extending what you already know to be true and adding an extra concept or two on top of it, and then meticulously walking through it by building a picture that makes it clear what's going on. So let's see what I'm talking about. This one's the hardest one on the homework by far. So let me just help you with this one. And you'll probably get another one like this on the test. So, but once you learn how to do this problem, it becomes a pretty, it's not a very hard problem. It's just a very long problem. So let's see if we can break this down. So there's three types. Rather than this, you normally have this question that looks like this. You have this thing called A and this thing called B, and you have things that are in, A, and things that are in A, things that are in B, and then things that are in both of them, the intersection. And then you might also have the things that are outside that are neither. This one is a different problem in that there's a third thing like this. And so that makes the problem a little bit more tricky, but it's really not that hard if you just stick with it and label things correctly. So let me show you how I do this problem, and I think it'll make sense to you. And just walk it through slowly. I know this is tricky, but take it slow. So there's three things here. We have tall, and we have green, and we have smooth. So I'm going to use the letters that make sense to me. So I'm going to call tall plants T, and there's 26 of them. And I'm going to call green ones G, and there's 35 of them. And there's smooth ones, and there's 44. Okay, and we know that there's 68 altogether. So if you add 26 and 35 and 44, you get over 100. So you know that there's an intersection. So there's some that are tall and green, some that are green and smooth, etc. And so let's break this down. So the way you do a problem like this is I like to draw it like this. You draw it the exact same way as your A and your B problem, but I'm going to call these T, these green, and these ones smooth. And now you have to, the way I like to do it is I like to letter all of these, every single section with the letter. So we're going to say this is A, which is tall ones that aren't green and aren't smooth. B are ones that are green, right, but not smooth and not tall. C, right, everything in here that's smooth and it's not green or tall. Now we're going to go through and we're going to label the different intersections. So D, this is things that are tall and smooth, but not green. Right? Same, these are things that are tall and green, but not smooth. And then F would be green and smooth, but not tall. And then there's one last section, which is called G. And that's that's everything. This is tall, green, and smooth. And notice there's also something that's none of them. We're gonna put that outside, and that's gonna be called H. So H is things that are not tall, not green, and not smooth. So our goal here is to figure out what A and B and C and D and E and F and G and H are. All right? But we have a lot of clues. So let's go through our clues. We have this thing, T is 26. So again, T is all of these things in here. So we know that, here, let's just do these in that color. A, and I'm going to do these in alphabetical order. A plus D
plus E plus G. It's always good when you're adding things together to keep them in alphabetical order, and you'll see why maybe later. And so that equals what? All the tall ones are 26. The green ones are, let's keep them in alphabetical order, B plus E plus F plus G. So that equals 35. Here, I'm gonna move these a little bit to the right because I know I'm gonna need that. Okay, now what else? Smooth. I bet you can write this one out yourself. So stop and see if you can write this one out. Stop, pause the video. Please do it. All right. C plus D plus F plus G equals 44. Now we have a few more clues. So let's see if we can break down these clues. Tall and had green. They were tall and green. So tall and green is everything inside this sliver here, right? Tall and green. So we know that E plus G equals 10. And now let's see if you can write the green and smooth. Green and smooth. See if you can write that one out. Okay. F plus G equals 20. Now the last ones are actually kind of cool because they're really going to help us solve some of these problems. So see if you can see 4 had all 3 characteristics. See if you can write out what that looks like. And that's actually a pretty simple one. So pause the video and try it. Okay. So all 3 is only this one. So we know that G equals 4. And similarly, 5 had none of the characteristics. So we know that H equals what? 5. So let's just move these ones over. Let's just move these over here. So we know that H is 5, G is 4. So we're going to write 5 and we're going to write a 4 here because we know those two numbers. Okay, so now let's see which one of these, so let's come back and see which one of these things here we can solve. Because if we know that G is 4 and H is 5, we can start to figure out some of these other things and fill them in as well. So let's do that. So pause the video. All right, well, I'll let you figure that out and let's get these ones. All right, well, if G is 4, then you should be able to figure out what F and E are. Right, so E has to be what? E has to be 6. And F has to be what? If G is 4, then F has to be what to make this all work? 16. Oh, we didn't write out one of the last key pieces, 68. So we know that all of these together equals 68. So we know that, go back to our orange. A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H equals 68. We're going to need that before this is all said and done. Okay, so if we know that so now that we know E, F, G, H, so let's just kind of write those things in. F and G, F plus G is 20. So we know that that's 20 and that's 20. And we know, so this is, well, this is 16 plus 4. And we know that E is 6. So now we should be able to figure out what B is. So if F and G are 4 and 16, that's 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. So what does B equal? B must equal 9. If you do the math on that, 35 minus 20 is 15 minus 6 is 9. So B is 9. Now we're really getting there. And if we know that E is 6 and G is 4, we don't know 8, so we don't know. Let's just write down what we know here. Let's see, E is 6. F is 16. E, F, G, and then B we actually know now too is 9. That's a pretty cool one. So we actually know the number of green, right? Green ones, well, we knew that anyway. That's 35. All those add up to 35. But we don't know A, D, and C. So let's see if we can simplify this thing here. Simplify this thing here. Let's simplify these guys to what we know. And then I'm going to leave you with that. So if E plus G is 10, then we know that A plus D plus 10 equals 26. So we know that A plus D equals 16. Whoops, let's look at not that one, but let's look at this one, because that's what we need to know. So now we know that C plus D plus 20 equals 44. So we know that C plus D equals, right, I added the 16 and the 4 here to get the 20 here. So we know that C plus D equals 24. And let's do down here. So we know that A plus 9 plus C plus D plus, I'm taking these things over here, the ones that I know and don't know, plus E is 6 plus 16 plus 4 plus 5 equals, whoops, 68. So I know that, let's do this. Let's simplify this. So 9 and 6 is 15. That's 20 and that's 5. So I know that A plus C plus D plus 15 plus 20 plus 5 equals 68. So I know that A plus C plus D plus 40 equals 68. So I know that A plus C plus D equals minus 40 equals 28. Okay, so I know that A plus C plus D equals 28. Okay, so let me copy all these things down over here, and we get A plus D equals 16, C plus D equals 24, and A plus C plus D equals 28. Now I think you can figure it out from here. And once you figure out what A and D and C are, you should be able to answer any questions about green and smooth and tall and small, and smooth and tall and green. But notice this: if C plus D, let me give you one last hint. If C plus D is 24, if I know that C plus D is 24, and then A plus C plus D is 28, I should be able to figure out what A is, right? If C and D are 24, then you should be able to figure out what A is. And once you know what A is, you can figure out what D is. So I'm going to leave you there, and call me with any questions you might have. Sweetheart, I love you so much. Math is fun. Math is fun.